Yo, welcome to Making a Millie Week 6. This is your Draftkings Millie Maker DFS GPP show. Got my boy Paul here, and we're about to get into it. All right, Paul, how we doing? We ready to talk some Draftkings
Doing
DFS?
great, man. It's the middle of the Seahawks Niners game. I got Debo in my lineup, just housed the 76-yarder. Had a couple
Yeah.
drinks, so we're doing good. Let's go. Let's talk some DFS.
Yeah, man. I'm playing the showdown in the 500K to first. I got Debo in the captain spot. So
Let's
hoping
go.
yeah, it's a strong start. Hoping for a better second half. So, yeah, man, we'll see. Should be in the money definitely with Jordan Mason getting hurt if he doesn't return.
I'm going up against Jordan Mason, so
So
I'm
you're
not a
having a
guy
good time.
who cheers for injuries. I think I used to be that guy who used to cheer for injuries. And then I realized, it's kind of bad karma. Every time I do it, bites me in the ass. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, Greg's out with a concussion. Oh, there's two of my guys questionable.
Well, we're gonna get into our walk of shame, but before we do that, hit that like button if you're here. It really helps. Appreciate the support, and with that, let's go ahead and get into last week's walk of shame. What was your walk of shame last week?
My walk of shame last week, and it's going to be a guy I'm going to hype up again this week, is Dontavian Wicks.
Okay.
After a 5 catch, 13 pass attempt, now 2 catches for 7. The guy's dropping a lot of balls. But I
Yes.
hyped him up last week, and he did not give me the return I want. But I'm still going to go for him this week.
That's DFS. You have to be willing to go back to people that burn you. That's how you win. You hold grudges, you hold biases, you will lose a lot of money. So you
Yeah,
gotta let that stuff
absolutely.
go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The
My
volume's there. The hands weren't.
no. My walk of shame. I had a lot of Bo Melton, had a lot of Curtis Samuel, and they were terrible. So it didn't go well for me. That's a walk of shame. I should have capped my exposure for those guys since they were so low owned at like 10%. And I ended up with, probably like 20-30%. And I was just like, why not? Let's just let it ride. And yeah, it didn't go well. So
Yeah.
that's my walk of shame. But we'll look to be better this week. And with that, we're going to jump right into the Vegas line. So, few games that really stand out. There's a couple really good game environments. I think there's three that can actually be back and forth and shoot out. First off, we have the 52 pointer. We got Detroit and Dallas, 52 points. This game, I think on both sides could shoot out because neither of the secondaries are elite for sure. And I think it's 27 for a good reason. Detroit, they are favored in this. The rare like 3-point, road favorites. And I just Dallas has not been playing well. There's something off with them compared to what they were last year. And I do think that Detroit is going to come in with the foot on the gas and score a lot of points, and Dallas is going to need to keep up. Now, can they? Because this year, when they've been put in those situations, and we even saw it last year in the playoffs against Green Bay, they don't always necessarily rise to the occasion. They tend to fold sometimes, so fold up like a tent. It can be bad with them. So we'll see. That's the biggest game total on Slate. Paul, what do you think about that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we can absolutely say the Cowboys can't fold up. The record's not great. The expectations were a lot higher. You have two of the highest paid players in the league. We just got brand new contracts on that team. But at the same time, the Cowboys come back with garbage time points. Whether they're winning, they can be behind quite a bit and come back with garbage time points. Fantasy does not care where you're getting those points from.
Mhm.
Garbage time points are same amount of points whether they're winning or losing. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Dallas is giving up 121 points on the season, which is just out. It's about fifth, sixth for most points. And we know Detroit has a great offense that could score. And then on the other side of that, Detroit is giving up an average, they're giving 36 yards above average to opposing passing offenses. So this game has shootout potential. I like it. The other
Yeah,
game that I
absolutely.
think really has shootout potential is Jaden Daniels Commanders. Kind of turn the Commanders around. They're going on the road to play Baltimore, who has that 29-point team total. Um, both of these defenses a little suspect for
Yeah.
sure. Baltimore, we expected their defense to be better. They've been in some shootouts. I mean,
Hmm.
last week, giving up 38 points. Washington, their defense has been better, but I think a lot of that has to do with the opponents they've played. They have not gone against a Lamar Jackson. So this game to me has shootout potential. I like both sides of it. I like it in game stacks. What do we think, Paul?
No, that's exactly what you're saying. Baltimore, that defense has been talked about a lot, but has it really shown up a lot? I don't know. They've been in a lot of shootouts, and it's been fantasy wise, it's been great. Um, as far as going the direction, who you want to stack with Lamar. Each week it kind of changes. He's been throwing it around a lot to a lot of different guys. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. And the last one that I like is, there's a couple. First off, I think Atlanta can really just kind of boat race Carolina. Carolina is giving up like 30 plus. So Carolina's given up 165 points to start the season. The next team on this slate is like 30 points below that. So it's a really good spot for Atlanta. All their players, with the exception of like Cousins, are projecting as chalk. So I like that. That game. And then the one above it, I really like Green Bay to get right this week. They're going against an Arizona team that's not good in the secondary. Just overall, not good. Kyler Murray can get it going. Obviously, he has Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride, so they can score enough points to keep this thing back and forth, keep it competitive. But I really like the Green Bay side of this, and they have a 26-point team total.
yeah, that's a good game. Like you said, the Panthers Falcon game is another great game. Um, like I was joking around, we're not going to see Kirk Cousins swag servant to another 509 yards. That's definitely a crazy game we saw last week. Crazy performance out of him. But yeah, we can see another high point total.
Most definitely. Yeah, Arizona, they're third in most points allowed. So they're better attacked on the ground than through the air. So it could be a Josh Jacobs week. But nonetheless, I think the Green Bay matches up really well with them this week, specifically Jaden Reed. Um, they Arizona, they play a lot of man or zone rather, and this is going to be a good spot for Jaden Reed. So that is certainly a game environment that I want to target. But that's going to kind of wrap it up for the Vegas lines. We're going to do our top stacks, our top cores, our top sleepers, three at each position, and then we'll do a little dice roll the dice, and see if we can put together a winning Millie Maker lineup. Eric had a good week last week,
Yeah, he
180
did.
points. He
Oh
was,
no, he was going strong for a bit.
yeah,
He
his
was putting
lineup,
up some money. Then the afternoon games came in a bit. Still won.
yeah,
Anytime you're coming through, it's tough to win money in the Millie Maker lineup. The way it's set up.
definitely. So let's try to keep that going. Let's go into our top stacks. All right, I'll let you start. Who do you like? Who are your
Sure.
three top stacks?
Um,
Three
I mean,
that
outside of the obviously the big games, the big scores, some of the other stacks I want to target this week, um, it's going to be the Texans. Gonna look for if I can get CJ Stroud and Diggs, with unfortunately Nico Collins going from day to day to straight up IR. I don't know how you diagnose an injury like that. And then the Falcons Panthers game, looking at Hubbard and Johnson. Uh, those defenses really are not doing anything. And then hopefully Mooney is he was looking. I was sitting there watching that game. I was like, man, am I looking at Mooney or is this old school Falcons? And then Bijan, I love to see Bijan go off. And then yeah, obviously the big main slate games.
Okay. All right, Paul. Awesome. So my top stacks that I like this week. Number one being Jordan Love. I like him to read. Like I said, Reed has dominated against zone scheme teams, and they're going against Arizona, and they have not been a good zone coverage unit. They played a zone quite a lot this year and have not been very good. So I think this is a good spot. The 26-point implied team total is certainly it meets what we're looking for. We want favorite teams right at home, with with a team total like over 24. So I like this spot. Love kind of failed people last week. He was chalk and he failed. So
Mhm.
people are going to be, not wanting to go back to him. They're going to see the Baltimore game. They're going to see, the Dallas and Detroit game. I'm going to go back to Love this week. So I like him in this spot, specifically with Reed. The other one I do like is Lamar to Zay. This is actually another. This is a really good matchup for Zay Flowers this week as well. So he's been much better against zone coverage this season, and he's going against a team that plays zone at a pretty high rate, and they're not the best in the league at zone. 10 worst teams. So I like him this week. Zay Flowers specifically with Lamar stacks. I do think if the thing with Lamar is you can kind of spread it out. You can play a little bit of Bateman, a little bit of likely. It's other than that, I'm not really trusting Andrews or Kolar. Or you could just even run Lamar out there naked. But I think
Yeah.
what I'm trying to do is just boost up Zay Flowers so that I get a lot of Lamar to Zay. And that's going to be a stack that I'm looking to target going against a Washington team that, I don't think they have faced the type of offense they're about to face. So I think their defense is kind of the numbers that they've shown so far. I think it's kind of fool's gold, and I think we'll see this weekend. Last stack. This is kind of, and we'll get into ownership real quick here for courtesy of DFS Army. People don't like to play Goff because Goff he rarely gets in the nuts lineup because they run the ball a lot at the goal line. However, there are times when Goff will throw like 4 touchdowns. It happens once or twice a season. And this could be that spot going against Dallas. He's projected for low ownership, 5%. You could stack him with Amon-Ra. You could stack him with Williams. You could stack him with Laporta. You can even stack him with Gibbs. So I'm about it this week, Paul. I like it. When I get him in a low ownership in a good spot, that's exactly when I want to play Goff. So
No,
that's my
I
other
love
stack.
that suggestion.
You're up.
Big thing you just touched on that I think we really don't discuss a lot on the show. Like you said, running Lamar naked. He does deal the ball out now quite a bit, but there's points out
Yeah.
there, and you can get another stack out somewhere else. And still run him out there by himself. Other thing I
Absolutely.
throw out there, game that we haven't really actually talked about yet is the Eagles Browns game. Hey, the Eagles
Okay.
wide receivers are healthy. Let's go.
Yes.
Happening. Hart, Smith, uh, AJ.
Yes, I'm with that too. They are another stack that I'm very much considering. They're getting more ownership than you would expect, but there will be some potential leverage spots. So let's go ahead and actually get into that. Let's go to the next portion. Let's talk about our cores. Who are you going to be your core players for this slate?
Sure. So this week I'm gonna try. Well, I'm going with Josh Jacobs against the Cardinals. They are not really stopping the run game. 7,600. So you're paying up for that. Another one wasn't great last week. Deontay Johnson going back to him. And then as far as the tight end position, this is where I'm either going to go with Ferguson or Likely. I like both of them in their matchups. Brandon Cooks out. Ferguson's already getting a lot of volume. You're gonna have to pay up to 5,000 to get Ferguson. Likely at 4,500, but both of those games should be high scoring games. So I'm gonna try to get those tight ends in there.
Okay. Yeah, you like the tight ends this week.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting
It's
strategy.
it's been a tough position this entire season. We've seen guys paying up for Andrews. We've seen guys paying up for Kelsey. These have been
Yeah.
guys who have been going in like sometimes second, third rounds, not turning up anything. So yeah,
And
this is where I'm
yeah,
going with this week.
tough position, and you're locking them in for the course. All right.
Yeah.
I so my top core is going to be Saquon Barkley. He's averaging like a ridiculous 26 points per game going against a Cleveland team. They're 10-point favorites again, so huge favorites at home. Cleveland's just in disarray because Deshaun Watson sucks. This dude got $250 million contract and just decided he didn't want to play football. By the way, I was watching trash TV with my wife last night. We were watching Selling Sunset. It's this ridiculous like real estate show in like Sunset Boulevard, and Deshaun Watson goes on there with his girlfriend or fiance, and
Masseuse.
start they start talking about how he's like negotiated the best contract ever for a quarterback. I'm like, yeah,
The
he
best
did. Because
fleecing ever.
the best contract for him, and he's been terrible. Worst contract for the team. That serves him right. Trading for that dude. It's a piece of crap. And he sucks. And I don't think he wants to play football anymore. I think he got his money. He's rich, mega stupid rich, and that's it.
Listen, I'm
So
not a huge fan of Stephen A. Smith because he usually just runs his mouth about
yeah,
nonsense. But this week, when he said Deshaun Watson is so awful, if somebody wanted to arrest him for being awful, I'd accept it.
yeah. Well, he's got a Cleveland team that actually has a good amount of talent on it, and they suck. I mean, that just goes to show how bad he's been. They're 10-point underdogs against a Philly team that's a far cry from what they were, 2 years ago when they were in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, give me
Sure.
Saquon. I love
Yeah.
this spot. He's been great. He gets goal line carries. He's involved in the passing game. He's just been amazing. So he's a core for me. I mentioned it earlier. I like Jaden Reed in this spot against Arizona. So he's a core for me, going right back to him. I think it's a great price for him. And I think he can maybe have that ceiling game this week. And then last, there's a couple guys that I consider for this third spot. Number one, Bijan Robinson. If he's healthy, this is the week. You're going against Carolina. They are terrible against the run. Let me tell you how terrible they are against the run. In fact, they give up they're the worst team in the league against the run. They give up 38 yards above average to opposing running backs, above
Yeah.
average. So,
Hmm.
and they give up the most points. So this is a smash spot for a guy that gets running carries. He also gets receptions. Now, I wouldn't say he gets enough, like not what you'd want for sure. Like we'd like to see less Tyler Algier, but this could be the spot, and he's 6,600, so I love him this week. The other guy that I was considering, Alvin Kamara, if he's healthy, he's going. He's going to have. So he's a little limited, right? Spencer
Hmm.
Rattler is getting the start. He's 4K, right? Um, and he's not getting any ownership because he's like it's not a good matchup. He's not very good. Um,
Yeah, it's my worry
it's
with Rashid right now. Tell your brother to check his trades because I'm trying to get Kamara.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
trying to get my hands on Kamara, but he does not log on.
oh, yeah. I know, but Kamara could get so many dump offs this week because they don't have a good offensive line. Like, Rattler struggles against zone. Tampa Bay plays a lot of zone, and they're pretty good playing zone. So it's not a good matchup for Rattler. I think Kamara could get a ton of dump offs, PPR scam. So he would be like the other guy I would consider just outside of that
Yeah, and if you're
top three
looking for a
scores.
defense this week, the Bucks D is sitting at 2,600. That's a great value for a D.
Yeah, definitely. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do our dice roll, Paul, and I'll let you go first, and then after that we're gonna do sleepers, and we're gonna do lineup building. Get out of here. So the way our dice roll works, Paul got one. We have the three
Ooh,
top scoring games. We
I
roll the
like that.
dice, each of us, and we are forced to stack that game. So we're going to build a lineup for that game. So Paul got Detroit, Dallas. He got number one. So that means I can only get number two or number three. All right, I got number two. So I'm forced to stack Baltimore and Washington. So that works for me. Paul, did you want to start building your lineup and I'll go with my sleepers?
Yeah.
This is it's a tough week for sleepers, but couple guys I want to go with. Number one is DeAndre Hopkins. So he is going against Indy this week. He's healthy. He's back. And Indy is a team that is giving up 47 yards above average to opposing wide receivers. So DeAndre Hopkins is a guy that I am seeing. In fact, we will go to DFS Army's domination station and we will look at the ownership. So we'll sort by ownership. By the way, this is something that DFS Army subscribers have at their disposal, the domination station, being able to build lineups, being able to see ownership projections, fantasy points per dollar projections, salary, being able to build stacks. We've got quite a few deals going on right now. NBA, NHL are here. So I will put a special offer in the video description. If you like playing DFS, you can actually get access to all sports. We're on tons of promotions right now. NFL, I mean, there's so many sports: NFL, NBA, NHL. There's PGA, there's NASCAR, like you name it. I do UFL content for DFS Army and NFL content, so you name it, we got it for you. But as I was saying, DeAndre Hopkins, 3% ownership in a plus matchup. He's getting a lot of targets still. I mean, I think he's 23, 25% target share. So really good matchup, low ownership. People are sleeping on him because the offense is bad, of course. And it's been bad and he's been hurt, but he's healthy, he's playing. So I like DeAndre Hopkins and he's got a favorable matchup this week. The other couple sleepers for me, Amari Cooper. So favorable matchup for Amari Cooper, believe it or not. going against Philly this week. I know I just bashed Deshaun Watson and said how terrible he is, and he's not good. But Amari Cooper, this is a pretty good spot for him this week against Philly. And let's see what his ownership is. 4% ownership. So he's a guy that they're going to be trailing. They're going to be throwing a lot. He's 6K. We've seen Amari Cooper go off even this year, like slow, 25-point game. So that's what he's capable of. I like him in this matchup at low ownership. And then last, Dyami Brown. Very high game environment, and he's actually one of the best wide receivers against zone, and this is a good matchup this week going against Baltimore. So 22 point total for them, 29 for Baltimore, however, and 51 and a half game total. I like this spot for Dyami Brown. Main reason, the matchup is favorable. McLaurin is projected as chalk, almost 20% ownership, and Dyami Brown projected for like less than 1% ownership. So he's a guy that I think you can target in your Jaden stacks or your bringbacks, and you don't need much ownership at all to get leverage on the field. So I love Dyami Brown in this spot. Paul, how we doing with your lineup?
I'm good. Cowboys game. I'm gonna go on the Cowboys side with Dak Prescott. I'm gonna go Bijan this week. I think this is that week for Bijan.
Okay, so Dak and
A little
Bijan.
bit apprehensive about this, but there is a RB1 in Dallas, and it is Dowdle. Zeke is not doing anything, so I'm paying $5,900 for Dowdle this week. I'm gonna go CeeDee Lamb after that. Wicks, Deontay Johnson, Isaiah Likely. This is going to be my sleeper, and it's a little bit deeper in there, but it's Turpin with the Cowboys.
Okay.
Wide receiver 3 with Cooks being out. He's at 3,800. This usually happens as soon as you get a wide receiver 2 out. Someone's got to come in. Let's get him the ball. It could be Tolbert, but I'm going with the wide receiver 3 with Turpin at 3,800. And then rounding that up with the Tampa Bay D.
Okay, so we went Turpin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like that because he's going to be low owned. So, and then you went Tampa Bay D going against Spencer Rattler. I like that. All right, so what is the whole lineup again?
So we got Prescott, Bijan, Dowdle. That one's I'm on the fence about that one, but I still feel good about it. This is Wicks, Deontay Johnson, Lamb, Likely. And that puts me at exactly 50K.
Okay. So you stack Daddle with Dak?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. It's different. But it doesn't mean it doesn't work. Okay. So you got Dowdle and Turpin.
I still do have Lamb in this lineup.
Okay. So Dallas plus 3 is what you're going with.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm good with it. Hey, man, get a little silly, get weird with it for the Millie. It's fine by me. I don't hate it. All right. So why don't you go ahead and go into your sleepers then, and then I'll do my lineup and we'll wrap this up, Paul.
Sure. So 2 of my sleepers I already mentioned. It's Tolbert and Turpin with both the wide receiver 2 and 3, either 5,000 or 3,800. Stacking that game pretty heavy. It is a home game for them. Another one, I think it's going to be a redemption week for all those dropped passes. The volume is still there for Wicks. I think he's going to be back in this week. And the last one, this is going to be my sleeper. That is the Bucks D that I mentioned. 2,600. Defense is a tough choice this week. Where to find some, not to overpay and get some value. You are going against a week one QB, a 5th-round pick. I think
Okay.
there's a chance for mistakes, and I think this is where the Bucks come and capitalize on that.
All right. I like that. I will say I don't think Tampa is going to be a sleeper though, only because I think that they're going to be chalk, be kind of high on, but that's okay. Want to let you know that. Okay.
Well, you're not paying a whole lot of money for him.
Yeah, they're 2,600. They're going against a rookie, going against a rookie quarterback. So it's totally they probably are going to be chalk a little bit, but yeah. So I'm going through the domination station. I just built 50 lineups real quick with Lamar locked in since, and that's one of the cool things is I was able to just put 100% Lamar and just hit the lock button on him. That's kind of one of the cool features you have is a DFS Army VIP. This is so customizable. So if you just want to make like 300 Lamar lineups, you literally could. So what I'm doing right now is, I built 50 Lamar lineups, and I'm just kind of going through here and seeing which one I really like. So yeah, and it's given me a lot of Lad McConkey, and I'm not sure how I feel about that going against Denver. I typically
I
don't want to play guys against Denver, so
yeah.
Yeah. So you know what I'm gonna do?
What do
We're
you know
gonna,
that we don't
and of
know
course,
that
he's probably
Denver's
gonna
gonna?
break the slate. What's that?
So what do they know that we don't know that Denver's gonna screw up this week? I don't think it's
Right?
happening to McConkey.
No, I don't think so either. Unless he's gonna play a good amount in the slot, and that is certainly possible. But I personally, I don't see it. Denver's at home; they're playing well defensively. Like they're honestly the number one defense in the league right now. So, I think I would just avoid that. I have seen it's some sites pushing him, and obviously, he's projecting well, and I get it. He could have a good week, but just based on what we've seen so far,
Yeah,
I'm just not going there. So,
yeah. Well,
um,
fantasy expectations come to die against the Denver D.
yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's see what we got here. Javonte is being pushed again. Little double tight end. Definitely getting a good amount of that. Okay. Yeah, it's pushing a little bit of J.K. Dobbins. I don't really love that, but sometimes you got to take it. I think I like this lineup here, so we'll go with this. I got Lamar, Chuba Hubbard, Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard has a great matchup going against Indy. We got Chuba Hubbard. He's kind of been matchup proof mainly because he's getting receptions out of the backfield, like 4 or 5 targets a game. So on DK, we like that. And, they know that that's the only way they're going to win is just by keeping the other team off the field because their defense is so bad. So I like that. We get Lamar, Tuesday Flowers. That's a stack I wanted. We got Drake London going against Carolina. And we got a little game stack here with Chuba Hubbard, Jatavius Sanders, and Zay Flowers. I like Jatavius Sanders just because he's a talented rookie. He's a punt tight end. And, they're going to be trailing and probably throwing a lot. So I like that. So we got Van Jefferson going against the Raiders, the lowly Raiders, low owned 3,100 guy. I'm about it. So I love me a good low owned punt, who could potentially in a good matchup who could potentially 4 or 5x the salary. And then Amon-Ra in the flex, and Titans D going against Anthony Richardson here. So and they correlate well with Tony Pollard. So this would definitely be a lineup that I would play. I think I can go with this. Maybe I make an adjustment to it. Maybe not. Probably just roll with this. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
I'm
think
gonna
that's the
make a
type of
little
lineup I would play for
adjustment with
this week.
Pollard and Hubbard. They're both going up against some defense that have been giving up a lot of run offense. I did realize go pretty heavy Cowboy on that side. But
of course, we record this. Normally we do this Saturday morning. It's Thursday night. We're recording a little early. Ownership's gonna change, so we'll pay attention to it. We'll adjust accordingly.
All those questionables have been dinging your phone Tuesday and Wednesday by everybody who's not showing up to practice. Yeah. You're going to have to figure out what's going on with those. So, yeah, absolutely. Set your lineups once you have all the info.
Yeah, exactly. So there'll be adjustments made, but that's going to wrap it up for this week. Let us know who you like in the Millie Maker this week. Let us know who you want to play. Of course, we'll be back. I think next Friday, actually, we will record with Eric in town at our house. So we'll have the three of us. He'll be here from the Netherlands. So it'll be a good show. And we'll see y'all next week.
In the future.
Yeah.
He's going to have to sport his new haircut.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't go very well. So we'll see if he's wearing a hat or not. But yeah, that's going to do it. Best of luck. We'll see you next.